Good mid-morning. It's Tuesday. It's a wonderful day. It's springtime. The whole state of California right now under a pretty good weather pattern. Coastal sections, you've got fog. We'll look at the fog. We're going to look at a bunch of stuff today. First thing we look at is the rain chance. There's a chance out there. You'll see that in the GFS model. We'll look at a couple versions of it so that you can kind of make a decision for yourself. We're going to talk about something that I've talked about before in the past, is California as a health spa, right? That sounds weird, but it's sort of interesting, the history of California and how health industry kind of, I don't know if it was born out here, but you be the judge. And then surfing in the Olympics. Not sure about that. And then we'll take a look at the Eagles as well. So we'll start with surfing in the Olympics. I kind of grew up in a time when, I'll play this. This is actually Trussell's. I grew up in a time when, like, we'd go surf Santa Cruz back in and you guys remember this too, back in the 60s and 70s, especially in the 70s and early 80s when contest surfing became a real thing. Contest surfing, professional surfing tour, that's sort of a newer concept in terms of the surfing world. They had contests, but they would be, there'd be the Eddie Akai, there'd be the Makaha contest. They were kind of small regional things, and they just happen once a year. Now it's a world surfing tour, and it's a competition. My struggle with surfing and competition is it's the same thing I struggle with dance. Like I have people ask me this all the time. Like, I've been surfing forever, and they go, "Are you a good surfer?" I'm like, "Well, I like to think so." It's the same thing as asking, "Are you a good dancer?" Well, I think so. I don't know, do you really want somebody judging you while you're dancing? I mean, like at a party or at a concert. It's kind of a weird thing. So surfing to me is more like a dance. Oh, I lost my little thing there. It's more like a dance. And so when you put a number on it and try to quantify it, I just don't think it's right. So in Santa Cruz back in the day, it was a huge surf contest vibe. This was back, sorry about moving all the time, is way back in the 80s and 90s. But I kind of get it. And they would actually, it was kind of militant. Like, a lot of you guys probably remember this, right? Klopp, if you're listening. The old surfers remember this because it was like, yeah, you were torn. If you're a great surfer, do you enter a contest or do you not enter a contest? And there were surfers who intentionally didn't enter contests, who may have been the best surfers in the world because they were opposed to it. So again, surfing in the Olympics, and this is where they're going to have it, which I struggle with a little bit too, because if you've seen surfing like at the wave pool, Kelly's Wave Pool, which is that man-made wave out in Fresno, I've surfed it. I'm going to get to surf it again in a few weeks. It's awesome, but horribly, horribly expensive to get into. I have a friend who can afford it. But it's kind of on a uniform wave, which is kind of like Trussell's. It's very machine-like. It's kind of boring. It's kind of boring, especially when you're a good surfer. These surfers are so good. It's hard. Your abilities, you may get the wrong wave, and your abilities won't show up. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm not angry about it or anything. I'm just be interested in what you think about surfing in the Olympics. Again, it's like dancing in the Olympics. I get pair dancing, kind of, because it's a team thing. But when you're just surfing, I just don't know how you judge it. So, okay, that's old man Martin just spewing right there. Let's move on. We're going to go to Mount Shasta. This is from Wairika, which we now know a bunch about. Mount Shasta today is going to go about 68 degrees. Wairika is going to go 73. It's a beautiful day. Lots of snow on the mountain. That's kind of the north side of the mountain. We're on the northwest quadrant of that mountain. Mount Shasta, the town of Mount Shasta is kind of to the right behind that cone, behind Black Butte, that little cinder cone, which is, I hope I do this right, is right there. And this is I know this area really well, but I wish I knew it better. I spent a lot of time, I grew up there, and I spent a lot of time up there, but I don't know it as well as I'd like to know it as an old man. So what do we have to talk about Mount Shasta? Nothing. We got nothing to talk about with Mount Shasta. What we're going to do now is go to the fog, or to the satellite loop. What we can see here, this is hemisphere satellite. Here's California. Here is a weather system, clearly, right? Here is another weather system to the north. Where's the jet stream, do you think? This is sort of interesting. Like, I can see where the jet stream is, and you can too. This low kind of throws it off a little bit, but I'm guessing you got the jet stream's going like this, up, 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 down under this low, and then kind of working its way back up here, and then kind of going back out here. And when you're not with me, get used to tracing out the jet stream if you can, because then that tells you everything. Because otherwise you probably wouldn't see this ridge here, right? And you might see the trough here. My things get in the way here. Okay, let's do it again. So ridge. Yeah, that's not right. Yeah, it kind of is right. There's kind of a broad ridge, a trough, and then this is a little bit of a cutoff low here. See, and that's separated from the jet stream. So when you get these little features like that, potentially it's not really a cutoff low, but kinda almost is. When you get something like that, that's kind of being driven by the jet stream, but it will actually detach, and then it becomes sort of a free radical, and then not all bets are off, but lots of bets are off. It'll start drifting to the west, but then so when you hear cutoff low, that's meteorologist talk for, we don't know what the hell is going to happen. I mean, we kind of do, but you really don't. Those things are, that's always been the one that has been the hardest to forecast. Fog. Mount Tamalpais. Hope you had a good day. I should have asked you that right away. Checking my timer. I got to get a little egg timer going here so I can make sure I'm on time. Hope you're having a good day. Things are good around here. Still working on the projects. Got the doing the timber tech thing on the decks. You know, it's kind of fun, but it's spendy, and the market's taking a dump. So that's like, ouch. You know, you're spending money and you're losing money. It's like, ow. And I've never not really worked and made money. So it's kind of a weird feeling, even though I'm okay. Unless next time you see me, I'll be doing this from my van or something. Okay, back to it. I promised to do weather right off the top. Okay, so here is the inversion. How deep do you think that is? Right there's Montara Mountain, Crystal Springs Reservoir. See the fog coming over the lip there? It's pretty good size, pretty depthy marine layer, deeper than last night, right? How deep do you think it is? Based on, we're on Mount Tam, which is 2,500 feet, and just go, okay, how high is that marine layer? I'm going to guess, I haven't looked, I'm going to guess 1,800 feet. Just based on the height of the mountain, right? So now we're going to go to the profiler, and ooh, kind of off. So here's the profiler, works from left to right. This is the acoustic profiler down in Fort Ord. It's awesome. I know it's not at SFO or somewhere close, but this is the closest acoustic profiler I have that I can use. This shows the marine layer deepening yesterday at this time, shallowing during the day yesterday and warming, and then in the evening hours beginning to deepen, and deepening to the point of, it says here, about 2,000 feet. I'm tracing the blue line. That's my inversion. Not necessarily absolutely accurate, but pretty close. So that I said 1,800, the inversion is almost about 1,900 feet. So, and once it gets up around 2,500 feet, 3,000 feet, it just becomes low clouds. So just something you can do. And when that inversion is shallow, it's warmer. When the inversion is deeper, it's cooler. So, it's going to be a little cooler today? Maybe. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So fog, let's do this. I like my arrow. Oh, interesting. So the inversion, a little deeper, maybe it deepened out to the point up here that it just evaporated, right? Right? A little bit of a trough or something went through. I can't really see that piece yet, but that's probably what happened. And down here, it does look like a little trough, doesn't it? Just some kind of a disturbance, and that lifts the inversion. And so that's why we're at a depthy marine layer all the way up and down the coast. And you can see it based on the inland intrusion of the fog through the Saline or through the Nicasio Valley, all the way into Petaluma, all the way into Berkeley and Albany, and almost into Vacaville and Fairfield and Concord. Yeah. And then Salinas Valley, look at that push all the way down towards King City, the fog. And then along the Southern California coast, fog as well. But this is kind of where the dynamics are, right? You see that low? I'm not saying it's a low. There's some kind of a disturbance here, some kind of a flow. And I think it's lifted the inversion, stretched this marine layer out, got rid of it here, stretched it out, and gave you a big push inland. Okay? So that's stuff you can do. You can look at that and go, oh yeah. Okay, so we can look now at the models. These are the latest. This is the latest GFS upper level model. I'll put in, this is 500 millibar vorticity. Vorticity is the red yellow areas, and that just represents, areas of energy, of wind shear, in the upper atmosphere. It represents an area of instability. So if there's fuel with this, you might get something, right? If there's fuel being precipitable water. But we're just looking for, where's the energy? Where's the energy at? And we are here. You can see the loop around us. And this is today, little something. Maybe that's our little friend, huh? Maybe that little trough. Yeah, I should have seen that. That little tweaks out. Do you see that little thing drop down? That's a little vorticity, meaning there's probably some lift in the atmosphere, which would lift that inversion. Speculating, but I'm thinking that's probably what it is. And then as we go into tomorrow, you see things stay about the same. And then you see this thing dipping down, right? See that trough right there? That's on Thursday into Friday. And that, my friend, probably pushes the marine layer pretty deep or pulls it away. And it is definitely a cool down Friday and Saturday. And then a big warm up. Look at that ridge build in behind. See it bumping up, bump, 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 bump. Big build. And we're going to see this in another model too. So there's the big build up. And that's true next Wednesday. Oh, and then what we can look at is, I think there's a little something coming on. This guy here. This is on Friday, Saturday next week. That looks pretty significant, right? We'll see. But that's just energy. I'm not there. I don't know. We didn't look at the fuel yet. But if we were to, it wouldn't take much to get that to be rain for us. So hopefully that could be an event. We will keep our fingers crossed for that. This is just going to articulate and reiterate what I just showed you. This is the surface map showing temperatures in Fahrenheit. Just look at the colors. Here we are this afternoon, okay? And then here we are tomorrow afternoon. Just look at the colors. So it's like, oh yeah, next couple of days about the same into this afternoon. And then Wednesday afternoon, and then watch it starts to cool off as we go. That's overnight. And the next day, see how the next day, afternoon, Thursday afternoon, see how much cooler it is, right? That's that trough that was that dynamics, the vorticity area swinging in over the top of us on Friday, and then again into Saturday, right? That's it. That's Saturday. That's Friday afternoon, pardon me. And then this is Saturday afternoon. So breezy, cooler for the weekend. Sacramento, 66 degrees on Saturday. And then Sunday starts to warm back up. And then next week, I'm just talking, but look at next week starts to light up the heat. Tuesday, next week, April 30th, you're back into the 80s, desert Southwest or into the triple digits. And then you see it, just look at the color. So that's a big one. That's a bit of an offshore event. So you warm all the way to the ocean. That's Wednesday, the 21st, April 30th, right? So can you make that connection that we just did? So we went from here and said, oh, what's going on in the atmosphere? Because there's multiple things involved, right? There's different layers of the atmosphere. This is upper air, and the one's the surface. The surface is reacting to this upper air, what's happening. And that's the beginning right there of that cool down this weekend. And then this is that next weekend system that we were looking at. Okay. I know. And again, is it going to happen? Probably something like that'll happen, but it will happen exactly that way and time out that exact way. I don't think so. These are the high temperatures from today. Sacramento's going to go 83. San Jose, 79. San Francisco, 65 degrees. These are average temperatures for this time of year. Fresno, 87. Los Angeles, 66. Just taking a breath. I used to work with a guy named Brian Sussman, and he's a meteorologist. He's a talk show guy now, kind of a conservative host. But in terms of communicating, that guy, he was awesome. As a meteorologist, he was the weather at CBS when I worked there, and he did a thing which I really liked. He would use, I use a lot of words to make my point. He would use very few words and make the point, and then he'd pause. And then he'd talk again. I know, it was awesome. And I always tried to do that, but I never could do it. I don't know where I got off on that, but I just know I've just been rambling, talking. These are the highs from today, for today, right? That looks good. 77 up in Ukiah. It's highs for tomorrow, about the same, maybe a little cooler. Okay. And then the changes occur. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, it starts to cool down. But this is classic spring weather. Nothing is really staring us down in the immediate forecast. These are the highs from today. Draw on the jet stream. I keep waiting for like Doug Stinton or Dan Knoll or somebody to come in and go, hey, that's not where the jet stream is, dummy. Because in class, this is what I used to love drawing in jet streams, just because it's awesome. Okay, so there's that little trough. Yeah, maybe there's a little trough right there. Okay, I'm in trouble now. Yeah, I think it's sort of like this. It's a little hard, more difficult today based on the forecast highs. Definitely, for sure, there's a mean trough here. I might be missing and then a little trough out here. Something like that. Okay, yeah, there you go. Look at us. Moving right along. We got a lot to talk about. And this is awesome because look at the travel watches and warnings for today. Not bad. Easy travel day. Easy travel day. Easy travel day tomorrow too. The surface map forecast for tomorrow. Oh, wow, that probably plays well. Sorry. Let's try this. I put more caffeine in my coffee today. I do a half decaf, half regular Pete's thing. And I make it really strong, but it's strong decaf with a little bit of caffeine. But then some mornings I wake up going, I need more. I need more than a little caffeine. And here we are today. Okay, this is Paradise. I wanted to talk a little bit. I don't know how this is going to work, how I feed this in, but we talked about the surfing in the Olympics. I want to talk about health in California and how California, if you know anything about California, it sort of became America's health spot at the turn of the century, right after the Industrial Revolution. This is my interpretation. I've never read this anywhere. I just know it from the history. And in the 1800s, when the Industrial Revolution began, the cities became really creepy, right? Think about that. There's thousands of tons of horse poo in New York City and pee, right? Because that's what that. And so this and open sewage, and I mean, it was abysmal. And during the Industrial Revolution, when everybody came in off the farms, I'm simplifying this, but they came in off the farms and they were living in these places and they got sick as heck. People were dying and getting sick. And so what you would do is you would put them on a ship or a wagon train or a train and you would send them out west because people made that connection that cities were killing people because of the health practices. Right, so that's an easy thing to understand, right? You're like, yeah, Industrial Revolution. All of a sudden, the rural farmers are working in the cities. The cities can't exhaust all of their pollutants and things, and so people are really getting sick. 2 years before the mast, Richard Henry Dana Point, that's why he came out here. He was a very wealthy kid. I think he was a Princeton or Harvard, Yale law student, and his rich parents said, "Dude, you got to get out of here. This is killing you." And they'd put him on a ship. And they drive him. They put him out into California, where he worked up and down the coast. Great book. And then even Rindge, Frederick Rindge, who founded Malibu, he was a rich guy from the East, and he was extremely unhealthy. And they go send him west, right? So this is the history of this place, which is really interesting. And then you think about it, you go, well, and I'm thinking specifically of Richardson Springs, because when I grew up here, this is Paradise, which I love looking at. This is the Feather River, or the Butte Creek Canyon, probably one of the prettiest canyons you'll ever see. Really is. But on the other side of the canyon is a place called Richardson Springs, which is another canyon. I think I can show you a picture of it. And that was I think I got it here. Oh, hell yeah. That was a health spa. I think this was it down in here. They got it blacked out because it's a community now. But it was a health spa, very famous health spa. And people would come for the mineral bottles, for the food, for the air, for the climate, everything. And there was a train that went to this place up from San Francisco. There was Miss Preston's. I think she was in Preston, Northern California. She was known for being able to heal people. San Diego has basically been founded or is about healing, right? Don't you remember, even when I was a kid, people would go to San Diego My dad's mom, I mentioned this once before. My dad's mom, my dad's 98, so here's my, back in the 1930s, they put her on a boat, and my dad too. She was dying of breast cancer, and they left San Francisco. They went down the coast, and she ended her life in San Diego. She died down there, but they go, this is a last ditch effort. Doctor said, get her on a boat, get her down to San Diego. Enough said, right? It even touched my life. It's probably touched all of our lives at some point. These are some of the famous hotels or places out west, and you can probably name some too. The Napa Valley Hotel was one. The Sanitarium in San Gabriel, the Sanitarium, isn't that interesting? Lake Arrowhead was known to be a healing spot. Hot Springs, Calistoga, Glenwood Hotel in Los Angeles, and the Montecito Inn. And I think probably one of the most fascinating things about California is that. Isn't it interesting? Like when you really think about it, you go, and you're not old like me, but when you're old enough, I remember people, well, my dad's mom, but I remember people going, yeah, you got to get down. People go to San Diego, get out just to heat. Then I think there's a little bit of that in the Palm Springs desert community thing too, right? I think people are you make connections between sun, outdoors, air quality, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I think that the Industrial Revolution component to the health thing is interesting. Because can you imagine living in New York City in 1880? Holy smokes, right? Just the stuff, and even Los Angeles in the 1880s. I mean, it was horses, so it was horse everywhere. It was horse urinate, and then the open sewage, and people weren't going to the bathroom, and right? Okay, so I might do a deep dive into that someday, but that I think that'll spike your interest into telling me things I didn't know. But California, I think that's a big part of this state. This is, oh gosh darn it, where am I? I'm at Constantia, place I've never been, in Loyalton. Constantia. I guess that's it. And you're looking out towards Taylorsville. Isn't that beautiful? And the love affair with Eastern California never ends. And the more you look at these pictures, the more you go, why am I vacationing in wherever? Well, I should head out there. Especially this time of year before the heat gets on it. This is San Diego, the University of California, San Diego. This is where we get our live cameras. This is an awesome university and such a resource to have these awesome cameras available to us all the time. I mean, they use them, I think, mostly for fire stuff, but we use them here for the awesome nature snacks that we get. I'll take a peek up on the mountains real quick. And then Palisades. Oh, there's folks kind of skiing. I bet that it's hard skiing today. Like this dude is money. Like the off-piste dude. See him here? Like, I'd be like, no, bro. There's a groomer. I could get my buns on and not have to ski that. All my buddies are really awesome skiers. That's hard skiing, by the way. All my buddies are really awesome skiers, and they make me go down this stuff, and I hate it. I'd rather go to a nice corduroy groomer, look good, make a few turns. You know the deal. Let's take one more picture. Look. Hopefully it won't jam up on us. Thanks for hanging in. Hey, yeah, there we go. Tell a friend. Go, hey, this Bill guy's doing some stuff that's different. And then your friends can tell me, I don't like that, or I like that, or this is what I want. Because what's happening here is I'm doing Ocean Beach, 2 to 4, not surfable today, kind of windy. I'm doing what I always dreamt of doing, which is, I always dreamt about doing weather. I used to do, when I was at Channel 50, a little teeny TV station in San Jose, I used to do what I wanted to do. And then when I got into the network television stuff, you can't do what you want to do. Now, I know this isn't great TV, but it's great. I think it's awesome. What is it awesome? It's awesome drinking coffee and not having to leave your chair and just checking stuff out. We've been everywhere today. So yeah, tell a friend. That'd be awesome. I'm trying to grow it because I did realize I was kind of, that's pretty. That's Marina. That's down in Monterey. Swells are small, and the swells stay kind of small next couple of days for a little while. That's just indicated there's not a lot of stuff happening offshore in terms of okay, jammed up. I have 4 minutes left to try to get to the Eagles. Sometimes I think my computer gets too much going on, but we're going to wait here for a minute or two. The Eagles will come up here in a minute. I did want to talk a little bit about the health stuff, the rain chances we got to, which are pretty minuscule and really not until the end of next week. Temperatures are going to be about the same tomorrow, and then they're going to cool down this weekend, and they're going to warm up that following week. And we're going to probably see some of our warmer temperatures of the season next week. What else could we do? Oh, tell a friend, and gosh, I'm going to bummed if I can't get. Oh, you know what I can do? I'm going to do this. If this doesn't clear, I'm going to go straight into. I'll edit the Eagles in. So I'm going to put up the Eagles right now, and you can see that mom's there or dad's there, or maybe they're not there. I think I looked earlier and they weren't there. But the babies are getting big, and they are not far from leaving the nest. So that's kind of exciting. We will be back here tomorrow. Thanks for hanging in. I think we took it right down to the last couple minutes. I'll see you back here tomorrow. And again, thank you for hanging in. Tell a friend, and just share with you or something. Because I'm not very good at growing my subscription, but I'd like to be. Oh, Eagles. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, buddy. Oh, they are so fed and happy. Let's see if I can get them up here. Oh my God, look how tired they are. Oh my gosh. They're so big. Awesome Eagles. These are live Eagles. Let me back up, see where Dad is. Oh my God, there's not a lot going on. God, they're not. This is a little earlier. Dad's not there. Mom's not there. Remember that nest now is about 6 feet wide. Totally. It's a 6 foot by 6 foot square. Sorry. 6 foot by 6 foot square, indicating that these birds are giantish. Very good sized birds. I think they're like 10 pounds by the time they blow the nest. Isn't that amazing? If you think about watching these birds, how long we've been watching them and how big they've become. So let's see if I can do this. And then we'll go back to their sleeping. They ate. Okay. That's a little janky, but I'm not going to redo it because if you're here, you're here. And if you are here, let me know. I like that. And the surfing in the Olympics, let me know what you think about that. Especially if you're a surfer. I mean, if you're not a surfer, yeah, that's good too. Okay. I'll see you back here. Oh, awesome movement. Awesome.